Well, hello and happy Easter, one and all. Welcome to the big Easter party here on the All We Can channels across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're finding us here today. A very, 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 very happy Easter to every single one of you in the comment section watching live or on replay. It's great to see you. Happy Easter to you, Liz, and all of you lovely folk in the comment section. Wasn't that an absolutely amazing big church sing? Wow, hundreds and hundreds of people around the country gathering online virtually to sing and to praise and to save lives. Best big church sing yet, Christine is saying. And it's so good to see all of you joining us for our big Easter party. Hello to you, Joan, as well. From Newark and Knots, hello to Diane Robinson, and really enjoyed the big sing. That's encouraging to hear. Thanks for the feedback. Hello to my daughter Olivia, who was a part of the big church sing. I wonder if you saw her during it. We had an amazing cast of individuals from the amazing school of Wakefield Methodist Primary School, and big thanks to them. But we're going to hear today celebrating the Easter story, the good news. So share with us your reactions, your reflections from the big church sing. What was your highlight? Maybe what are your highlights, to be honest, because there wasn't just one amazing thing, wasn't there? There was so many awesome contributions from people from across the Christian church coming together to really celebrate the good news of Easter. And that's what we're celebrating here. So for the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some conversations with some of the artists who are a part of the big church sing. And we're just going to have a laugh and celebrate the good news together here on All We Can's channel. So really encourage you to grab your drink wherever you find yourselves. Maybe you're in the garden, watch this. Maybe you're in your lounge, your kitchen, and share with us this amazing good news together. Before we go any further, I do encourage you, as the banner says down below, we really want to help spread this party, because it ain't no party without your friends being involved as well. So we really want to encourage you today to click the share button, which is just below this video somewhere on your screen, especially if you're watching on Facebook. Click share and share it to your newsfeed. What that means is others in your friendship groups who you're friends with on Facebook will see this video, and maybe will also become a part of the big church sings after party, the big Easter party. But also we're going to be sharing the good news. So actually it's a really good opportunity for you to share the good news of Christ being risen today, this Easter. If you share this little video, it's going to be something fun for you to share as well. Christine sharing with us in the comment section, the bagpipes introduced in Christ alone stood out. That was amazing. And I definitely have to give a big shout out to Celtic Worship today for that. And it's great to see those of you who say hello to one another in the comment section. So do carry on commenting and like this video. But as we continue on in our big Easter party, now the welcome's out of the way, we definitely wanted to introduce you to one of our very special guests who you saw as a part of the big church sing this time around at the beginning and also at the end. Did you notice him? I hope you did. He's a good friend of ours here at All We Can. That is the Reverend Chris Duffett. He's at the door today. Chris, you're going to be coming in. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hey, Matt, I'm doing really well. Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me on this. This is so good.
It's so good to have you at our party. We couldn't have a party without you, Chris. Happy Easter, firstly, to you.
Thank you, Matt. Happy Easter to you. You know, I love that comment from Olivia. Hello, Daddy. So cute.
She's no doubt running around her nan and granddad's garden and having a great time over there at the moment. But Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, Chris.
Hey, thank you, Matt. So I'm an artist, but I'm also a Baptist minister who heads up the Light College with an amazing team of people. So I'm one of the principals of the Light College, and we train and equip evangelists and pioneers all over the UK to go and let others in on what we have as followers of Jesus. So we train people up to a BA, a degree in theology, mission and evangelism, and we also train up pioneer chaplains who seek to bring the good news in places that you would not expect.
Yeah, that's amazing, Chris. And also as a part of that training, it's all about sharing the good news, isn't it? And so that's something that I know that you're passionate about and that you kind of committed your whole life to sharing. And so how do you what's it been like for you during this Easter period? How have you kind of been sharing the good news? Any kind of stories that what you've been up to? Because I've seen a
Yeah,
couple of things online.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of prayer walking over this holy weekend. So Good
Yeah,
Friday, I went prayer walking around our local town. Yesterday, prayer walking in my community,
yeah,
praying blessing on those that I see and the houses and shops. And this morning, I've been prayer walking around Cambridge with my family and leaving little mini bits of art around as I went to pray, and also gave to people in a socially distanced way
yeah,
some little mini artworks with some words of encouragement to say to people, keep going. Take a
yeah,
deep breath. Oh, God is with you. Just simple words to remind people that they are loved and
yeah.
they are known by God. Usually, Easter time, I must be honest, Matt, we would
Mm,
usually be doing something absolutely crazy and big out on the streets, anywhere
yeah,
that we can, to
yeah.
let others in on what it means to know Jesus and what
Mm,
he has done for this world. But we can't, so we're doing what we can.
yeah.
And as we go and pray, we are meeting people, and at a safe distance, we are able to share a little bit about our faith.
That's so good. That is so good, and really encourage you to continue to be inspired by what Chris is up to, and to follow along the Light College, and to see all the different avenues how we can share the good news. And one of the ways that, Chris, that you've always in recent years, in particular, it seems like been sharing the good news is through your artwork. So how have you found sharing the good news through art as kind of an expression? How does that kind of relate to
Yeah.
your kind of story, I guess?
Oh, I love to paint for people, Matt, and I'm
Mm.
pleased to see one of my paintings behind you. Uh,
Yeah,
I
there is, in fact, there is.
And I love to paint. And usually I would paint in cafes and pubs for people
Yeah.
around me. And I'd paint prayer paintings, paintings that I hope would bring something from God's heart to people's
Mm.
hearts, something that would encourage and strengthen people. But over the last year, that just hasn't been possible. So I've been giving away a lot of artwork online and encouraging Christians to get some of my artwork, some of my prints, and just give it out to friends and family.
Yeah.
Words that would encourage people in this difficult time as people are coping with loss, as they're
Mm.
coping with mental health. I've been seeking just to bring some words of encouragement through the artwork. So I've been doing loads of painting, even though I haven't been able to paint in public like I usually do.
Yes. Yeah. But nevertheless, we were inspired by your painting, and everyone at All We Can always sees my painting in the background from you, Chris. And we, encouraged you to paint for us for the big church thing this time around. And we gave you the theme good news, because that's what we were hearing all about the big church thing, isn't it? Everyone that's been part of it this year. The amazing Joanna Adeyinka-Burford sharing as a kind of a news anchor, of sharing us the good news, and there's good news stories. So when we gave you that title, how did you feel inspired? Because actually you've got the painting in your background right there for people
It's
to see
here.
the
It's
painting.
here.
So talk us through, Chris, the painting that you have created for the big church thing this year.
Yeah, and here's a confession. I was actually inspired by one of my students. So we had a practical day online,
Mm,
and I set them a task to bring something of what God is doing. And one of my students came up with a desert theme, and it was really striking. She'd used lots of pictures and in a circle. And it got me thinking, this good news, it is transformation. This
mm,
good news. Jesus, he heralds in the brand new. So I've painted a desert scene. I've called it the wilderness shall be glad. And it's in three parts, a bit like the 3 days of the Easter story. The first part is dry and
mm,
arid, and the grass is at the forefront of the painting. They're
mm.
just brittle and dry. And then we've got a torrent of rain that often happens in deserts that absolutely flood. And there are rivers in the desert.
Yeah.
And then we've got the blooming crocuses and the flowers and the seeds of the grass coming up. But I wanted to link it somehow into one story. So the light from the wilderness shines through over the three
Amazing.
different scenes. But the inspiration also came from Isaiah 35. As I looked at my students' ideas and her collage of what she did as part of her training with us, I thought of these words from Isaiah 35. Can I read them? Is that okay?
Yeah, please do, Chris. Please.
So
Yeah.
Isaiah 35 says, "The wilderness and the dry land shall be glad. The desert shall rejoice and blossom like the crocus. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice with joy and singing." And then it goes on to say, "Strengthen the weak hands and make firm the feeble knees. Say to those who have an anxious heart, be strong. Do not fear. Behold, your gods will come with vengeance." And you know, Matt, this season that we've been through in this pandemic has been like a wilderness.
Yeah.
And what I felt the Lord say is, here's the good news: the wilderness shall be glad. So the awfulness, the heartache, the loss of this season, there will be fruitfulness. There will be a gladness. Joy comes in the morning. You know, morning lasts for a night. Joy comes in the morning. And I wanted to somehow bring that Easter story of transformation, that Jesus is heralding the new. And from here, he continually says, "Look, I make all things new." And we're part of this story. We're part of seeing this world transformed. What a powerful message that we have. This Easter story is about this whole cosmos being transformed because of what Jesus has done.
And that is the good news. And so many people saying, thank you, Chris. Colin saying, thank you for the cards he's recently received, Chris. They are stunning. So that's really great. That's good to hear, Colin. And the link we put up already, chrisduffettart.com, to follow to find out more details how you can get some of those prints for yourself or order some of the amazing art that Chris has been a part of. But Chris, that picture and the painting that you've done for the big church thing and for the Easter party here is simply phenomenal. Lots of people saying how incredible it is and inspiring it is. I saw Christine sharing how that scripture is so inspiring to her in the comments too. And, you know, Chris, you very kindly offered for us to be able to agree to auction off this for all we can purposes for our partners' work. And we're excited for that. So, what we're going to be doing, just so everyone watching here knows, this is going to be auctioned off for all we can, and we're delighted that we're going to give more details in the coming week. So look out for our social channels to find out more details of how you can get this painting for yourself. But it's truly a one-of-a-kind piece. So we really want to encourage people to look out for more details. But thank you, Chris, for painting it for us.
Bless you, Matt. Whoever wins the auction, I'm going to put in 50 cards of blessing. So I've got these tins of blessing. I'm going to put in 50 of these cards that you can give away, and hopefully will encourage whoever wins it as well. And I'll also put in a couple of other prints that I hope will encourage whoever wins this in their auction.
Yeah. Bless you, Chris, we love having you part of all we can. Thank you for that amazing painting, and I can't wait to see it go to its new home in the coming weeks to whoever might get it. But thank you again, Chris, for kindly offering us for this auction, and we can't wait to see what impact it will have in people's lives as well, and those gifts too. But thank you, Chris, for being a part of the big Easter party. We love having you on, and we'll speak to you very soon, Chris.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Bless you. Thank you. Thank you again, Chris. Amazing. Just want to remind you that is the incredible picture that Chris has popped, is painted for us. So encourage you to really be inspired by this painting, and do encourage you to follow our social channels in the coming week to find out more details of how you can be a part of that auction and be a part of maybe hopefully getting your hands on that very unique piece of art. It's truly amazing as well, and it's sizable. You're going to need some sort of wall space as well. It's even bigger than one I've got in my backdrop as well, so you're going to need a nice bit of wall space. So make sure you start clearing some space in your house so you can get involved with that as well. Over to the comment section. It's great to hear from you, Patrick, as ever, soaking up that sunshine after a great online Easter worship. Tell us some of your stories of Easter this year, Easter 2021. Let us know how it's been going for you. We'd love to share some stories of the big church sing to. What were your highlights? What were the things that you particularly enjoyed? And also, happy Easter to Brisbane, Australia. It's great to have you back, Karen, as a part of the choir. So it's great to have you here at our big Easter party, and Carol as well. It's great to see you. So do let us know where you're joining us from for the big Easter party. We've got more fun coming up. And speaking of fun, it wouldn't be a party, would it, without a few games? Am I right? Alrighty, well, we have the big Easter challenge now that's going to be before us. Now, I have to say, this game is between me and a young man called Timothy Baker, who you might recognize, you might know here on the All We Can channels. And me and Tim, we have a bit of a competitive spirit between us, and we like to win certain challenges. So we have some challenges that me and Tim have pre-recorded for you to decide in the comment section who is the winner, okay? And so these challenges were a surprise to us, and then I want you to let us know who you think is the winner. So today, the power is in your hands here at the Big Easter Party to decide who is the winner of each challenge. So over now to find out what our first challenge was.
Looks like it's Easter challenge time. An egg. Get this egg, that egg I guess, as high as you can without breaking it. You have 1 minute and 1 egg. Your time starts now. Right, so first thing I'm thinking is just to throw it. Can I catch it again? I guess I could try and balance it somewhere. I feel like it would just fall. If I get up on the grass, and if I drop it, I guess it's not going to break, right? Okay, that was quite good. I reckon I can get it higher. I reckon Matt will try and get it higher than that. Right, come on. Oh no. Ooh, that's quite good. That's quite good. I reckon I've got a bit higher in me there. Come on. Oh, sugar! That was a really bad throw. Do any of those count?
Right then, here it is. You ready? The challenge says this: get this egg as high as you can without breaking it. You have 1 minute and 1 egg. Your time starts now. Okay, right, here's the egg. Right, now, chances are Tim's gonna start throwing it up and down. I'm in my kitchen right now, so I'm probably gonna need to get this a bit higher. So, right, I could start throwing it, but I don't think that's high enough. I think Tim is going to break his because he's going to start throwing it. So, going upstairs. Okay, right. I'm upstairs now. going to do about breaking it. I'm going to hold this egg out of the top window. Like so. There you go. We're upstairs. See the street lights. I think that is pretty high. So I wonder if you, Tim, can beat that. That's high. Double story house. Is that the right word? I don't know. I think that's a pretty good effort. Wow.
Good efforts, Matt. I'm very impressed.
That was very good. Tim, welcome, by the way, to the Big Easter Party. It's good to have you along for the journey. A bit of a cop-out. Some people won't. Let's hear from the comment section. We want to hear. I hope you enjoyed the first round of our challenges. So let us know what you thought. Tim, I have to say you broke your egg, so I don't feel like you can say you won at all.
No, yeah. I feel like I got it quite high, especially on the throw that did eventually break. Took a long time.
I want to say also that's not on camera, so no one knows how high you got it. So that's also so.
That was the first thing I did as soon as I stopped, was that there was no way of checking how high I'd got them anyway. So what? How madness.
Well, we got Diane saying one. Yeah, thank you, Diane. Thank you. I mean,
Matt reckons you cut out a bit, but I think that's harsh.
I mean, I think that is harsh, Dean. I think that is very harsh. A couple of people saying first challenge win for Matt. I see Colin saying well done both. Matt wins. Angela, thank you. Tim was faster at that when he was. Absolutely brilliant, Nigel. Tim's faster than that and reading his questions out when we have questions during the week for all the questions you can. Karen saying, Matt, thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. My Brisbane family helping me out there in Australia. Good effort, Tim Baker. I thought it was a good effort, Tim. I have to be honest, it was very good.
It's marks for effort, but you win, I think. Oh, Yorkshire is higher up the country. That's an interesting take on geography from down on the south coast. There,
we don't go down that route too much.
Olivia's voted for you.
Olivia said Daddy to win. Thank you, Olivia. Yes, definitely. Well, I'm going to claim that, Tim. I'm going to claim that I got my first point on the board there. But Tim, we've got some more challenges to come, so we'll see who claws it back. I will take the point 1-0 to me so far. So Tim, we'll see how you get on later on. But do stick around in the comment section, stick around watching this and see who takes challenge number 2. And Tim, I have to. It's on. It is on. Well and truly, Tim. You're very right. And I hope you've enjoyed that first challenge game. It wouldn't be a party without a challenge and a good game. Now, Tim, as a part of the Big Church thing, wasn't it? We got to share some really good news stories, didn't we?
Yeah, brilliant. So good to hear the good news being told again, isn't it?
It was. And I want to share quickly today about some more good news, if I can, just for a moment, Tim, because actually we were so inspired by looking at this map. What you can begin to see is some of the countries in which All We Can's partners are working, just to kind of give you an idea in the scope of the global work of our partners here at All We Can as a movement. Jordan, Cameroon, Ethiopia, India, Uganda, Bangladesh, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone, and Haiti, just to name those few as well. Those amazing countries, all in which All We Can's partners are working. And over 190,000 plus people have been impacted through our work, through our local partners, in particular, through the Big Church Sing and through what people support and what people's activity has been since over this past year in particular. Because at the very beginning, when we first started the Big Church Sing, we had our coronavirus emergency appeal. And that appeal was so crucial to us here at All We Can and to so many lives. Over 190,000 people's lives have been impacted through the work of the Big Church Sing, through the coronavirus appeal, and all that we've been able to do for the last year. So that is some good news, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite moving, really, isn't it, looking at that map and seeing that sort of each of those little labels is a community of people, a whole bunch of individuals whose lives are being changed and saved by All We Can and the movement that we're a small part of. Yeah, it's quite encouraging this Easter Sunday afternoon, for me at least.
Yeah, it is. And I hope that is encouraging for you watching at home. It is some good news. But actually, yes, this last year has been so incredibly difficult on so many different levels. But yet, nevertheless, through us gathering together in these moments like the big church sing, and these moments like the Easter parties and the after parties after the event, actually, your support has made an immense difference. Over 190,000 lives impacted through the emergency coronavirus appeal. And we want to say a massive, massive thank you for that good news that you at home have helped create and you at home have helped support through our local partners. Christine sharing their real good news to see so many countries where work is being done. Thank you, Christine, as well. Well, Tim, one of my highlights, I have to say, of this year's Big Church Sing for Easter was having the amazing Noel Robinson involved. Noel is an incredible artist, musician, and just simply a great person. And I got the opportunity to sit down, Tim, with him to chat a little bit about his story. So shall we hear a little bit more from Noel, shall we now?
Yeah, absolutely.
For those that maybe don't know you, Noel, or maybe see you part of the Big Church Sing, tell us a little bit about yourself, Noel, in terms of what you're into and what you're currently doing.
I would describe myself as a worshipper who happens to be a worship leader. I would, describe myself in those terms. But I'm a fun-loving guy, just easygoing. My heart is to see revival across our nation and across the world, and everything I do kind of like has that kind of DNA in it. So that's my heart,
Yeah, that's amazing. And when did you if you said you started playing guitar at age 8, was it? So when did you kind of start 6? When did you, when you once you picked up the guitar, when did you feel like you wanted to lead worship? Was there a moment, or was it kind of a journey?
That came many years into the journey, because my consciousness was, when I started playing at 6 years old, my father is a Windrush community guy, and our churches, growing up in the Black Pentecostal churches, it was very much a real community. So I became at an early age one of the musicians in that context. So the beautiful thing about it is that I grew into being the music director of my church, which was based in Northwest London, and we didn't have the term worship leader within the Black church community. That wasn't a term that was ever used. There was a singing team, a music team that had singers and musicians. So we never had the word worship. So I kind of evolved into that place because I began to realize that I started talking about worship a lot and encouraging people in worship, and then had to lead it myself, which I had to lead the song service. And I realized somebody goes, "You're a great worship leader." I'm like, "Worship leader, what's that?" That's when the term for me became alive. And I ended up being Graham Kendrick's guitarist, and ended up being Ron Canoli's music director. And along the line, doing lots of TV, being a session musician. So I played sessions for lots of, at the time, pop acts and different artists from around the world. So amazing. From that point of view, that's how I think I kind of fell into it. I think worship leading for me is not a musical expression, but it's a calling, if that makes sense. So for me, that's how it worked.
How was it for you as a worship leader, as a worshipper, to kind of maintain, I guess, your own worship spirit in the midst of lockdown? Because obviously you're not with with the congregation and with the participants worshiping. How have you found that in this season? Because obviously a lot of us are talking to camera quite a lot and worshiping to camera. So how have you found that as a worshipper?
I have missed the live interactions that would normally happen. But one of the things that, as always for many years, has been at the root of what I do. The root of what I do is not in what I do or fulfilling the role, but it's actually been in a revelation of who God is. And part of my journey as a worshipper is I've had to learn to find God outside of the music. That's where the first lesson was, because we oftentimes attach things that we do or have to. So, for example, going to church on a Sunday, which it was stripped away from us.
Yeah.
Do you still find God, or was church part of the idol or part of the connection? Nothing wrong with church being that, but I actually feel that what this season has been is a total reset for people. So for me, it was a reset. Not having the platforms and having to create the platform, but actually having to create the platforms not just out of what I do, but out of the revelation of what Jesus is saying in that moment, and what he was speaking to me about the reset and how I could help people and myself just travel along that journey of what I call the reset.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good.
You have to build into your faith walk this context of Jesus when there's no walls.
Yeah.
That give you that picture, So this amazing picture where Jesus speaks to the woman at the well, and he goes, you guys have prepared a mountain basically to worship God, but you still don't know him. You've done all these external things that point to him, but you still don't know him.
Yeah.
But actually knowing who he is actually the basis for worship, because the true worship, I would redefine it or define it and say, worship is humanity's response to the revelation of who Jesus is. So who is Jesus in this pandemic? Who is Jesus in what you've been going through? Who's Jesus in those moments where it's not visible by everybody? So who is Jesus? What is he saying to you? And, things like being aware of his nearness, being aware of his presence, being aware of him in everything you do is kind of key. And if you walk with that kind of attitude, you find him in all the most amazing moments,
Well, thank you so much to Noel Robinson just for taking that time out with us to offer his worship music to be able to be a part of the Big Church Sing this year. But also, we're so delighted to have that conversation with Noel Robinson. We have a longer form of that conversation that I got to sit down with Noel, which is going to be broadcasted on Monday. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Monday's tomorrow. Can you believe it? At 1:17, our broadcast. So if you want to hear that conversation in long form, do encourage you to join us back tomorrow at 1:17, and you'll hear that conversation with Noel Robinson. But also, you can hear more about Noel's incredible music and download it for yourself and order it at noelrobinson.com. But also, we're really grateful to the Gettys as well, who were a part of the Big Church Sing this year round as well, this Easter. And you can find out more about their music too at www.gettymusic.com. So I encourage you as well to go find out more about the Gettys music. We're delighted to have them a part of the Big Church Sing Easter this year as well. So big thanks to them also. Do keep in your comments and let us know what your highlights, let us know what your good news stories were as well. It's lovely to see Mickey Youngson as well said happy Easter to us here at the All We Can family. So thank you, Mickey. We appreciate it as well. To Michelle as well. And Sally saying, no, tomorrow is Easter rest day, or do what you want, call it day. That sounds quite nice to me. I think do what you call it day as well. That sounds like a very good idea to me. But now to the next individual that was a part of the Big Church Sing here at Easter, and that was the amazing Joanna Adeyinka-Burford. Joanna, we are so happy to be a part of the Big Church Sing. If you've got children, or if you like to watch CBeebies, you might too recognise her from a number of different shows that she's on CBeebies. But she was delighted to be a part of our Big Church Sing. And I have to say, I think she played the role absolutely perfectly. So let's now hear some of Joanna's thoughts about good news. So over to have a conversation with Joanna, shall we? Amazing. Well, Joanna, we've been so delighted. As you said, you've been doing some filming for All We Can for the Big Church Sing. And this year's theme of the Big Church Sing for our Easter special is all about good news. And so, what does good news mean to you? And I guess maybe you just want to share some of your own testimony within that, and kind of what you've done. You've mentioned CBeebies as well as what's the best production you've been a part of. Maybe you want to mention a bit more also about kind of your career choice and and what's good news for you, Joanna?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's so many things I could say about good news. I think for me, when I think about good news, it's anything that makes me smile. It's anything that kind of pushes me from one place to the next. And funnily enough, just this morning, my son said to me, why is Good Friday called Good Friday? Surely it should be called Sad Friday.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's funny, because actually it's called Good Friday because we look back on it and know that it's a good thing, and know that there was a good thing that was going to come. But actually, when it happened, it didn't feel like good news. And so sometimes things happen in our lives and they don't feel good. But when we look back on them, we know that God was in it, and then we can call it good news. And I think sometimes it's not always, for me, when I think about good news, it's not always just looking at it the way you see it today. It's knowing that God is with you and he's in everything, and everything that you do, whether it's good or bad, a challenge or a trial, but there's good news in it because God's in it. And so I love that God's taken me on such a journey. As you mentioned, in my career, I started off as a dancer and actress, and I then decided I wanted to be a presenter, and I really didn't have anything that, you know, that said or looked like I was going to be a presenter. I didn't have connections anywhere, or I just didn't have anything. I didn't have an agent who was going to back me and send me places. All I had was my willing heart. I knew I had this gift as well, and I know that it was God who opened incredible doors for me to be able to do the job that I do.
Is there, you know, a good news hope, or a hope thing, you know, theme story, or kind of a hope thought that you want to leave us with today as we kind of go on our way? Is there kind of a hope that you're holding on to, maybe for yourself, but maybe for wider as well? Kind of, is there something that is kind of keeping you going, I guess, is the question.
Oh, that's a really good question. Is there a hope thought? You know, I think hope is kind of like an anchor, isn't it? And I think for me, even in times when I think, oh gosh, this just looks bleak and grim or challenging, I feel like that hope, when we hold on to hope, it's what keeps us grounded. It's what keeps us connected, you know, to God, and knowing that, like we said, no matter what the situation we face is, even if we can't see the outcome, even if we have, you know, we feel like we're in despair, actually that hope is something it just helps us to know that whatever way this goes, God's in it, and the end result, the end is going to be good news, because he promises us that he's working on our behalf, even when we can't see it, even when we don't hear from him. And that's for me, that's what I hold on to.
Well, thank you so much, Joanna, Adeyinka-Burford. It was so good to have Joanna as a part of the Big Church Sing this Easter. I hope you enjoyed her contributions in particular and all that she brought to the role. Who else loved? Put your hands up if you loved her contribution. I know I certainly did. It was so good to work with her, and also had that amazing conversation with Joanna too, just sharing some of her story of lockdown, but also of what the good news is for her too, and how it plays out in her ministry and calling as well. Again, I want to encourage you, do check back on All We Can social media channels here on Facebook and YouTube too, because that long form interview that we had with Joanna will also be going live in the coming weeks as well. So if you enjoyed hearing from Joanna there, encourage you to continue to look out for those interviews to come in the pipeline. If only we could follow Jesus like Martha does, by jumping up and down. That's what Karen's sharing as well. It's good to see you in the comment section as ever. Do continue to share your thoughts and your stories and your appreciations of the Big Church Sing. Dean sharing with us a massive thank you to Wakefield Methodist Primary School and all the children and Joanna. They were amazing. Not to forget, as we said right at the beginning, the awesome Wakefield Methodist Primary School. They are absolutely incredible. You might have enjoyed them at Christmas. I think they did even greater job, didn't they, as a part of our Easter Big Church Sing. It was really good to have them back again as a part of the Big Church Sing. Lots of conversation also going off about bonnets and about other things alike. For the next challenge, do stick with us, because the next challenge is coming up in just a few moments' time. But as we've done throughout the big church thing, we've shared some good news stories. We want to share with you another good news story from All We Can's partners and some of the response into what you have given to as well, in particular in this last year. Because as you remember, it's not just us that were in lockdown in 2020. It's also other countries like Uganda. For the past year, we've been talking about how change begins with a bicycle. And we've been reflecting and seeing how our partner Fabio has been adapting and working in the midst of the community of Butagaya in particular. And actually, what you might also remember as well as a part of our coronavirus appeal, what we were raising awareness of is how actually the bicycle, it's not just a tool of transportation, but it is a tool of transformation. Why? Because of this lady's story, Tepenezi. And I want to share with you her story, and I want to just read kind of what she relates and what she has given to us in terms of information of her own story. So when COVID-19 outbreak occurred, my life started deteriorating, and there was completely no way for me to reach the hospital to get my routine medication. After weeks of lamenting, I got the information about the emergency bicycles that had been distributed to help the community. I approached the chairperson and I got help. I started borrowing the bicycle to travel to the hospital. I no longer miss my routine checkups, and now my life is very stable. I also use the bicycle to fetch food from a neighbouring community. Now, that story is so beautiful because it shows how change begins with a bicycle. It shows how change has truly begun for her life in the midst of a really turbulent time, in the midst of a lockdown in the country of Uganda. But because of your support, because of your prayers, because of what you've done during this last year in supporting our partner Fabio, actually over 1,200 households being able to access bicycles for themselves as a part of that emergency response in that community in particular. So I just want to take a moment as a part of this Easter party to say a massive thank you. And thank you to you that have given. Thank you to you that have stood alongside us here at this movement. And I think that is certainly, as Christine has said in the comment section, marvelous news. It is truly inspirational. And we want to encourage you that maybe you've been blessed by All We Can's work in this last year and seeing how it continues to stand by its partners in the midst of a global pandemic. Actually, your regular gift, as we say, at allwecan.org.uk/change begins, truly can help change begin for someone just like Tepenezi as well. So I really want to encourage you. Maybe you want to take that moment, that step for yourself today, wherever you are. Go ahead and check on that website, allwecan.org.uk/change begins. It's down there at the bottom. It's also in the comment section for you as well to click on at your own leisure as well. But change truly does begin with a bicycle. And we've seen some good news stories being shared as a part of the big church thing and the parties thereafter as well. So I hope that encourages you. And Mickey sharing with us amazing news about the bike, simply life-changing technology, environmentally sensitive, amen, and also relatively cheap, especially when you compare that to what prices would be like if you're buying a bike here in the United Kingdom. It's incredibly cheap, definitely, Mickey, and most important, like you said, environmentally sensitive too. So win-win-win all round. So that's some good news to continue to share here as a part of our after party. But it's now time for us to go on to our challenge number 2. Now, just to remind you, if you've not been a part of the Easter party so far and you're kind of thinking, what's this challenge all about? Well, myself and Tim Baker have been a part of some challenges where we've had to do a certain task. Now, the first task, I have to say, I've got one scoreboard on the score. That's not even a phrase. I've got 1 point on the board. That's a phrase. I'll take that one for now. So I'm 1-0 up right now. So it's up to you, the judge. You are the judges in the comment section. I want to see all of you that are watching get involved right now and let us know who you think wins challenge 2. Let's roll the VT.
Looks like it's Easter challenge time. Let's see what this says. You have a Weetabix, a crisp, and a jelly. You must eat one, throw one in that bucket, balance one on this pole, You must not move from where you are now. You have 90 seconds. Your time starts now. Imagine if you ate the crisp, the Weetabix. I'm going to eat the crisp. Got some Weetabix, got that on there. Oh, we had to move a little bit. That's okay. That's committing me to throwing the jelly in the bucket. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea now. Let's see how we get on. Here comes the jelly. Happy with that. We've got Weetabix on there, quite a nice crisp, and somehow the jelly got in the bucket. Even I was surprised about that.
Okay, here we have it. Here's the challenge. You have a Weetabix, a crisp, and also a jelly. You must eat one, throw one in the bucket, and also balance one on a pole. You must not move from where you are now. You have 90 seconds. Okay, right, 90 seconds, right. I'm gonna eat the Weetabix. Okay. Not gonna lie, not a good decision. It just dry. Okay. Oh my goodness. That's so good. In my mouth. I'm so sorry, Mum. My parents bought me a better than this. My time's going. Okay. Sick. Okay, hang on. Look. I'm going to pause that. I'm going to throw the jelly. Okay, hang on. Okay, jelly in my hand. Got it. Okay, not good. I'll do the balancing now. Here we go. Big wee bitch. Alright. Tim, I wonder how you did. Oh boy.
Mate, from the moment you picked up that Weetabix, your day got a lot worse, didn't it?
It was soul destroying watching it back. I knew what was going to happen, so I knew the ending. But it was just soul destroying watching it. That was just
quite hard to watch. Actually, it made me gag a little bit watching you still going at that Weetabix.
I think I've still got a bit of the Weetabix left over. To be honest with you, I think it's still half on the kitchen side, with the jelly on the floor as well. It will never end. Well, there's lots of people in the comment section. Lovely bonnets, people saying thank you. We did see the comments. We do take notice of them, and we've got our Easter bonnets on. Tim, read us through some of the comments. Let us know what you think, Tim. Let us know in the comment section how do you think we did. I feel I let the team down there. Sorry, Dean, as well. I know you. A definite win for Tim.
You had to eat the crisp. I think that was the game changer. I think Neil Robinson may have cut right through the heart of the game, which I think is an important moment for us all to recognise. Maybe many years jelly throwing. There is no evidence that the jelly hit the bucket, and I realise that, except for my celebration. So yeah, I think that shrunk in the weather. Yeah, there we both got whose heads are significantly smaller than ours. I think. Yes. Great. I think the consensus is that it's probably 1-1, Matt.
I'm so sorry, fans.
Has raised questions here. Have you thought this through, Matt? I think I want to vouch for you here, because under pressure, when you read that line, your time starts now.
The panic.
Brain, don't they? Like, why did I throw an egg in the air 3 times? That was madness. I don't.
As if you could do it more. Like, it was just like it was going to get better every time. Like, no, I panicked. I'm happy to say this. I'm sorry to Sheila and to Dean and to Sally and to those that were supporting me in that round. I happily would take the loss. I'll take the L. It's 1-1 now, Tim. And I think that means we've now got a tiebreaker. Am I right, Tim?
I think it must be. It must be tiebreaker time.
It is tiebreaker. Well, what we'll do, Tim, we'll get to the tiebreaker in just a few moments' time. So do stick around for the tiebreaker, which will be a live tiebreaker. So do stick around for that. A happy Easter for all. Amen, Vicky. And yeah, this used to fit me last lockdown, the first one. But anyway, right, Tim, who was... I shared some of my highlights of the Big Church Sing. I love Noel Robinson. So many different people have been a part of it. Was there some highlights of yours, Tim, of the Big Church Sing that stood out for you this time?
I mean, so many, almost too many to name. But I think the one that and Christy mentioned it a few minutes ago. Just that introduction, just with Celtic worship, just kind of setting the scene for worship. I love their sound. I love the kind of vibe that they bring, and just those first few kind of haunting bars of In Christ Alone with the bagpipes. I was kind of there already. It was Easter when that started playing. So that's my highlight.
Yeah, Celtic worship, absolutely amazing. I have to say, Martha, your little daughter, is saying, I think Daddy's wearing my hat. And Martha, you are correct in thinking that Daddy is definitely wearing your hat. Already people are saying what the tiebreaker should be, Tim. Tiebreaker dance-off. A tiebreaker rap battle. There's all sorts of madness going on right now in the comment section. Let us know what you think it should be. And I think then Sheila's saying that's not Tim's hat. Shock face. But or a funky chicken dance off, Wayne. We'll come to those comments a little bit later on. Let us know what you think we should do as a tiebreaker. But Tim, I agree. Celtic worship helps set the scene of our Big Church Sing amazingly this Easter time, and I was delighted to sit down with them as well, Mari and Scott, some of the members of Celtic worship, to talk a little bit more about their story as well. So let's hear a little bit more from Mari and Scott. Well, fantastic. Well, we're here with Mari and Scott from Celtic worship. How are you doing, both of you?
Hello,
yeah,
Matt.
we're great, thanks. How are you?
Do you know what? I'm doing well, doing very well. It's good to have you both actually back here as a part of the Big Church Sing after party and a part of the All We Can movement in your worship styles. And tell us a little bit about. Obviously, we got to taste it and sort of experience it as a part of the Big Church Sing. Your style of worship. Tell us a little bit more about the Celtic worship style of worship, if I can use those words. Tell us a little bit more of kind of how that came to be, and a little bit of that backstory too of how you guys have found your position to continue to use the platforms that you have and the gifts that you have. Tell us a bit more about that story.
Yeah, so Celtic worship started maybe 4 years ago, was it? Yeah, and I think so growing up, like I was saying, I became a Christian really young, and my parents were Christians, and my mum, I think, had always wanted for me to use my music for God and to worship, and obviously I did that by playing in church on Sundays and other ways, but that wasn't my main job or whatever, for a better word. So I think she'd always hoped that for me and prayed that would happen. So anyway, there was one day Scott and I were up for Christmas, I think. We were playing some tunes just together, some worship songs. I think it was in Christ Alone we actually were playing together. You were playing on whistle, playing on fiddle, Mum was playing piano, and then it just felt so natural playing that type of music, worship music, with Scottish Celtic instruments. So from there, we kind of asked the rest of the band, who were all our friends at the time we all knew of, and they were all full-time working musicians, but we're also Christians. So we asked everyone to just have a rehearsal together. The only person we didn't know was Steph, and someone had mentioned getting in touch with Steph, and it just really organically came together. We did some rehearsals, and we were going to play at Celtic Connections, which is a festival held in Glasgow. We really wanted to do a church service because there's people that travel from all over to come to Celtic Connections and see lots of amazing Scottish folk music. So we were doing this one concert or worship morning at church, and yeah, that's how it started. And then the style that's come from that is it's all really natural as well. I mean, like, I was brought up playing Scottish music, playing fiddle, that's my instrument. Scott's instrument is bagpipes and whistle. So he was immersed in that tradition growing up. And then the rest of the band, they're also from Scotland, so they were brought up with that as well, but they bring their own flavours. So, you know, Gus and Chris were more jazz musicians. Naomi's a singer and an actress. And then Steph does everything, bluegrass, classical guitar, and Daddy, the drummer, he's incredible at everything as well. So I think all of our different styles just contribute to the overall sound of Celtic worship, but we're really, I think worship music just lends itself to these instruments and this sound, and it's kind of obviously, you know, God's created this amazing world, and Scotland's, like, we love Scotland, it's such a stunning country, and just like looking at the landscapes, the instruments, just the sound just fits with that because it's the sounds of the land here in Scotland. And I think those two connections together is where the sound comes from for Celtic worship. It's very much organic, natural, and just how we'd want to play them, I suppose. Is there anything
love that.
out there?
Yeah, natural worship, I think, and all the sounds we make are just, we try not to overthink it too much and just do what we naturally do and what God's made us to do. This is what it sounds like.
I know for myself and for those watching too, who have experienced the worship music that you have put out and encourage others to be a part of, you know, but that is actually, it's so true what you said. It's natural, it comes across that way, and spirit led, and just it is such a unique sound as well. And that's why we're so delighted that you're a part of the big church scene, because I think, you know, Celtic worship, you bring something to the table, which, you know, so often almost it's the thing that we didn't know was missing until we got to experience it, if that makes sense. And I think that's the biggest compliment I can give it in regards to, because actually, you know, so often you don't realize what you miss until, you know, it's there or it's not there anymore. And actually Celtic worship, what you bring to the church, we bring to worship as a whole, is just such a blessing. And I really want to encourage others to come be a part of what Celtic worship are doing, to experience it for yourself, because it truly is unique and it truly is impactful as well. And
they're so great.
They're absolutely amazing, and we really want to encourage you to again follow along, and great to see so many of you who have been just inspired by Celtic worship. You know, Wayne sharing in the comment section just how they've been a revelation this year, and actually I think I said to them in the longer form interview that you can see in our social channels, again another cheap plug for that as well, there'll be that longer form interview coming out very, very soon. But I said to them in that conversation, Tim, when they go on tour, when they're allowed to go back out to buildings and to worship together, I think they're going to be so shocked how much support that they have now compared to when they first began, in terms of when lockdown first began. And obviously you can go to celticworship.co.uk, order their music. A lovely little story, Tim, that Mari shared is how it's Mari's mother up in Scotland who sends all the merch for Celtic worship. So that's a nice little story, which I think is really nice. So if you buy anything on Celtic worship website, Mari's mother is the one packing it for you, which I think is just lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. They are so inspiring. And you know, what I love about the Big Church thing is the way it's kind of done a mixture of bringing together some legends who we all know and we've got their CDs and had them for years, and also some brilliant new artists, and kind of just seeing those all together has kind of been a real inspiration for me. You know, it's been great to have Graham Kendrick again this last time. Beautiful rendition of Meekness and Majesty. He's got loads of brilliant music, as I'm sure most of you tuning in know. There's the link there to where you can find out more about that. And others too.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what's been so inspiring for us, is having all these different voices coming together, sharing together. We've got some, I have to say, Tim, we also haven't talked about the National Methodist Choir yet, which we will do in a few moments' time, but they're amazing contributions too, which are absolutely incredible, led by the amazing Matt Beckenham. And we do have a very special surprise for the last bit of this broadcast, so do not go anywhere, because it does involve the amazing Matt Beckenham, who helped put together the choir, and weren't they just incredible once again, Tim?
Yeah, as always, beautiful rendition of Love Divine, and One Sound as well. Also, one of Matt's side projects, and we had some great stuff from them. That lovely version of Perfect Sacrifice, which just did it for me this year. I don't know why. Just this Easter felt like just the right tune. So really pleased to have that, and obviously great to have the Gettys. They're always good value, and loads of great music there as well. GettyMusic.com.
Definitely. I nearly couldn't contain myself when I see the comments come up, and Tim looks a bit like Kentucky Easter Chicken. Oh dear. I was going to say, Tim, you have got my shirt on, Tim, from those broadcasts. I feel like you kind of got them coming out as well, which is nice to see. It's good to see. Good to have Graham with us. Thanks for sharing in the big church scene, Graham, your reflections too. A new artist, I think, have been fantastic for us, and just introducing different people to just the church community in and around the world, in fact, as well. So it's really encouraging to see as well. So, Tim, I think it's time for us to settle the challenge, the Easter challenge. Am I right? Because it's now 1-1. Those who've been following along during this broadcast, this Easter party, we've been doing challenges back and forth. It's now 1-1. So, Tim, talk us through what you think you've seen in the comment section, how we can decide this.
Yeah, 1-1, one to play. Lots of interesting ideas in the comments. Just need to introduce my mum to you all. Hello, thanks. You were the two angels at the tomb announcing the resurrection. Yes, we are, and the angels have better headwear. Thank you for that, Mum. And loads of just absolutely bonkers ideas in the comments. A funky chicken dance off. Like, I mean, that sounds good, but we're both going to be awesome at that, so we won't be able to choose the difference.
Especially Kentucky, Kentucky Tim over here.
Yeah, I've already got an advantage if I look like KFC product. Best chicken walker. I'd love to do that, but I have absolutely no idea what a chicken walker is. Tie-break rap, I feel that's probably out of both of our leagues. We've had a crack at spoken word in recent.
We're not Ellis Matthews quality, let's be honest. So
exactly, absolutely. So lots of lovely suggestions, and thank you all for chipping in. But Matt, put us out of our misery. What can we? Oh, Mum's saying who could jump the highest. Again, really hard to measure on StreamYard, I expect, on a live stream on Facebook and YouTube. But thank you. Angels in check shirts and Easter bonnets. Absolutely. Put us out of our misery, Matt. What can we do?
Yeah, okay. Also, we'll have a little think what we could do. And not said we love the ideas coming in. We didn't expect the ideas to come in quite. So Yoda just gone. Oh no, she did not yodeling. So what I thought what we'll do, Tim, is to really kind of settle this once and for all, is to use the comment section once and for all to help us out, and that is to go and do a little game called Go Find. So what we want to do now is use the hashtag Go Find. Hashtag Go Find. It's going to be a scavenger hunt, Tim. So we need to go and find whatever is the thing that's put on the screen. So for a moment in the live broadcast, you're going to have no one talking to you, which is going to be quite strange if someone joins randomly. But I want someone to use the hashtag Go Find, and then say what you think we should go and find, and then the random computer will post up what we have to go and find, and I'm going to run to go and find that thing. So this is now the moment, Tim. We go and we wait now. We wait for the answers to come into the comment section, and then the random adjudicator will put it up to the screen, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. And bear in mind, I have to say, Tim, we're in our office, aren't we? So we don't want things too easy, do we?
No, exactly.
So anything Methodist related, Tim's got in his office. Let's just bear this in mind.
I'm sure this is where the scrutineers will come in, or the TV referee.
We need some scrutineers to go.
We're not going to stand on. There's not going to be any tar or feathering. Don't worry. We're just waiting on the adjudicator to put up the thing that we need to go and find.
Yes.
Oh, here goes. Go and find. Thanks, Sally. Coleman, go find a can of beans. It's on.
Yes. Yes. It's a bit of beans.
Beans. Oh, you're already here.
Yes.
Oh, rubbish.
If we just have the confirmation though from the scrutineers of the comment section to let us know who. Certainly, I think I definitely won that, Tim. But
it sounded like you were already here when I came running through.
There were some very good answers coming in. Go find the spanners. I did see a Methodist hymn book, which I got a little bit worried about when I saw Patrick post that. And go find what you last threw in the bin last night. Again, not what we want to see, Graham. That would not be pleasant for anyone. Go find your wife. That would be a real, because she's out in the garden at her nan's. So that would be a big struggle for me. I would definitely have lost that. So I'm glad the adjudicators didn't go for that one.
No, I think the Christine, who plays the role of referee in this organisation, has come in. Sorry, Tim, you're a bit late.
Yeah.
You were clearly on Team Tim earlier, but you know the truth when you see it. Matt, easily the first. I'm glad we brought different brands of beans, by the way. Lots of beans are available.
Exactly. Yeah.
Today.
You're the manager, Tim. That's why you got Heinz. Sort of...
that would have been a good one if we'd got to that. I think we were already on our kitchens before that one arrived. Thanks, Sally.
Oh. Matt had 4 cans. No, Joan. I have to say, Joan, I did have 2 cans. Sorry, Joan. I had 2 cans of beans, but you're all right though. But best of 3.
I think, Sheila, people have probably had enough of us running away from our screen in the middle of a stream.
Especially when Graham said, just whistle whilst yourselves while we're all gone. Yeah, that's very true. But I do think, Tim, there's probably some legs in that becoming a game at some point down the line. So do watch out. Who knows, another party that we might bring #GoFind back out again, because all these games do always have a recycle value. So you might see #GoFind once again. And Patrick saying #HarshTruth. Tim being slow on questions recently, slow on the can. My
wife's weighing in on my side here. In Tim's defence, he did take some time pulling just 1 can out of the pack. Thanks, Team Tim.
Unbelievable.
Always been on Team Tim. Sheila loved the silence. I did see at one point somebody suggesting one possible, all we can. Thanks, colleagues. One possible suggestion for how to do the tie-break was who could talk the least.
Yes, that would certainly, considering the broadcast has been going for an hour and 15 minutes now, Tim, neither of us would ever win. And so on that note, I think it's good that we bring this party nearer to its end, Tim, but there's still some very exciting goodies and gifts to bring to you right at the very end, definitely as part of this big Easter party. And I hope, as we've been sharing in the Big Church Thing at Easter, that you've really experienced the good news for yourself, that you've really encountered it once again, as Chris Duffett reflected right at the very beginning of our party, of what the resurrection, what the good news is all about. And I hope as you've worshipped with us, I hope as you've had fun and laughed and heard interviews and some of the contributors, that you felt inspired and you've encountered that good news for yourself as well. And there's the good news that we've all been waiting for, 2-1 between Matt and Tim. Thank you, and I'll screenshot that now. Anyway, what I really want to encourage all of you watching, as I say, we do have a very special surprise right at the very end, so don't go just yet. But we just want to say a massive thank you. A year ago, just over a year ago, we entered a national lockdown that we never expected to be back online again for Easter 2021. But here we are. As a movement, we want to say thank you for your support. Thank you for standing alongside us as a movement and playing your role in a part of this movement as well. It's not just me and Tim that are here, but actually there's so many of you that are a part of this movement of All We Can, and we love having you, every single one of you, as a part of this movement. So we want to say a massive thank you, and thank you, thank you, and thank you again. I want to encourage you, as you've seen hopefully throughout this broadcast, how change begins with you. And we want to encourage you to head on over to allwecan.org.uk/change begins. And you can go ahead and either commit to give regularly to the work of All We Can, which we really encourage you to do so, because for as little as £6 a month, change can truly begin and help break the cycle of poverty for someone else around the world as well. So thank you so much for joining us at the Big Church Sing. Do look out for more of those interviews with those guests from the Big Church Sing. Noel Robinson, Celtic Worship, Joanna, Adeyinka-Burford. All of those interviews are coming up on our 117 broadcast. And Tim, remind us, when is 117?
It's just after 116. Every Wednesday and Friday on the All We Can Facebook and YouTube, you can come and join us. We have lots of interesting guests, we have conversations, we play silly games, we pray together, and those are special times, and we would love to have you as part of the community. People like Colin join us nearly every week, and it's always good to have regulars and new people, so please come and be part of the little online community there.
Exactly. And we've got a special treat, as Tim says. Tomorrow we do have a 117 Noel Robinson. Then the week after, it'll be from Wednesday, and Friday will be our not Big Church Sing, not every Wednesday and Friday. It will be the 117 broadcast. Hi, Mum. She's probably thinking, what on earth is Matthew doing? But it's good to have our parents with us, isn't it, Tim? Watching us. It's probably quite, kind of, comforting. They go, well, let's just see what our boys are doing. Oh, they're just wearing Easter bonnets live on a broadcast. Anyway, Tim, I could talk forever, as we already talked about already. So you share with us some good news as we go, and would you just pray for us as we go as well today, and share with us what the very special surprise as well is as we depart from our Easter party?
Absolutely. I'm going to take my Easter bonnet off to pray.
Yeah.
And thank you all for being part of it. Thank you for committing to join the movement. Just encourage you, if you're not part of that movement already, this is your moment. Come get on board. Visit that website. Be a part of it. And let's just kind of close our time together, our little broadcast, with a moment of prayer. So, as has become a tradition here on the All We Can pages, if you're joining along at home, this is your chance just to post a little praying hands emoji, just like that one in the comments. Or if you can't find that, then just type the word praying. It just helps us all feel like we're praying together, even though we're all in our different homes, our different gardens, wherever we are. Let's just bring this time together to close in prayer. Exactly. Bonnets off, heads down. Let us pray.
Amen.
Holy God, we thank you for the joy of resurrection. We thank you this Easter Sunday that we can recapture some of that joy again. We thank you for the hope that the Easter story brings us, and the good news that we've heard again today. The good news of that first Easter morning, and the good news of resurrection that has echoed down the centuries to right here and right now. The good news that continues in our own lives, in our own churches, in our celebration together today as we've worshipped online, and in communities around the world where All We Can is at work. We thank you for that good news. And we pray a blessing now on everyone who's been a part of today. All those who've joined in with the Big Church Sing live, all those who'll find it again later and tune in, all those who've been a part of our after party today. We just pray that you'll continue to use each one of us to be good news, to bring your good news to life in the places where we live and in our whole world. Let's be connected and let's hold together and bring about change in your name.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
And so, to close, as Matt's been saying, we're really excited that the Big Church Sing wouldn't happen without the wonderful Matt Beckingham and all of his various skills. He's brought together the incredible National Methodist Choir, which you can still sign up to be a part of and find out more about. And he's also brought out a single, especially for Easter Sunday, released this morning. Those of you who tune into some of the local radio stations around kind of Sheffield and South Yorkshire, where Matt is based, may well have heard this already. If you haven't, this is your premiere of Matt's new single, look up, and it's just what we're going to use to play ourselves out this evening. So we're going to say goodbye from us here. Thank you for joining us, and just hang around to enjoy this and to worship together one last time this Resurrection Sunday. Cheers, Matt. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, the night seems longer to me now. The earth is dark and sighing somehow. The beauty of day is hidden away. But look up, the stars still shine. Look up, the moon glows fine. Look up, the light's not out. In the dark its presence shouts. Look up, it's all around. Look up, they're to be found. Look up, light's with you now. In the dark, light still surrounds. Look up, look up. In the shadow of the darkest night, the sun still burns with all its warmth and might. It's out of sight, but speaks through moonlight. So look up, the stars still shine. Look up, the moon glows fine. Look up, the light's not out. In the dark its presence shouts. Look up, it's all around. Look up, they're to be found. Look up, light's with you now. In the dark light still surrounds. Look up. It's only by the bright light made. Sure, season follows season. The dawn will come with the rising of the sun. So look up, the stars still shine. Look up, the moon glows fine. Look up, the light's not out. In the dark its presence shouts. Look up, it's all around. Look up, they're to be found. Look up, light's with you now. In the dark light still surrounds. Look up, the stars still shine. Look up, the moon glows fine. Look up, the light's not out. In the dark its presence shouts. Look up, it's all around. Look up, they're to be found. Look up, light's with you now. In the dark light still surrounds. Look up.